are you? When will you get home?
Hi, Vanessa. I thought I told you yesterday. I'm at the hospital with Grace today. I'll be out all day. Is something wrong?
The hospital again? Didn't you leave the house at about 9 a.m. this morning? It's already past lunchtime. How can you be out for such a long time? How much longer is it going to take?
Well, we were on time for our appointment, but it's really busy here today. I think it's going to take a little while longer. There are still a lot of people in the waiting room who were already here when we arrived.
I don't understand why you need to take so much time for something like this. You just need to get her a prescription for Grace's medicine, don't you? Why should that take an entire day? You're a housewife. Your job is to be at home to make sure the cleaning and cooking gets done. When you get home, I expect you to have the bathroom clean before dinner time. It hasn't been done since last week. It's disgusting.
But Vanessa, I'm sure I asked you to clean it for me this week. You agreed because I knew I'd be busy all day today with Grace. Don't you remember?
What are you talking about? I didn't agree to anything like that. These cleaning jobs are your responsibility. You don't have any other work to do. You told us you were capable of looking after the household chores and cooking when you married my son. Why are you telling me now that you can't do this?
I distinctly remember telling you that Grace and I would stop by at my parents' house on our way home. We'll get dinner there. If you want me to clean the bathroom when I get home, that's fine, but it'll be sometime later this evening. Is that okay with you?
I thought you meant you'd just pop in to see your parents and then come straight home. Why do you have to spend such a long time with them?
I don't know where you've got that idea from. You must have completely misunderstood me. I told you that there was lasagna and salad in the refrigerator and you just need to bake the lasagna and put the salad into a bowl. Surely you realized I was telling you that because I wasn't going to be home to prepare dinner. I haven't seen my parents at all this month, despite living about 20 minutes from them. They deserve to see Grace too.
This is all an elaborate excuse for you to avoid doing your weekend chores, isn't it? Why is it you always seem to have plans on the weekend?
We make plans on the weekend because Grace goes to school during the week. She can't keep missing school to go to the hospital. I told you yesterday, right after I explained about the dinner. My parents' cat is sick and Grace is worried about him, so I promised her we'd stop by and see him. And when I told my parents we'd come around, they asked us to stay for dinner. That's why I asked you to clean the bathroom and finish off the dinner. If you don't want to, I'll text Adam and ask him to look after it.
A sick cat? Why should any of us care about a cat? Are you telling me you think you can ask your husband to do your chores and cook his own dinner because you want to go and check up on a cat?
Well, yes. It's the 21st century now, Vanessa. I'm sure I can ask my mother-in-law or my husband to deal with their own dinner once in a while. Adam is a great cook, actually. He made me dinner a lot while we were dating. But we've had that cat ever since I was a child, and he's getting old now. To you, he might seem like just a pet, but to us, he's a member of the family. And your granddaughter cares about him too. I don't want her to be sad, which she would be if the cat dies before she can see him and say goodbye. Don't you think you could let this go? Just once? My dad said that he thinks the cat won't be around for much longer, so I'm sure this will be the last time we'll come round to see him.
Oh, the cat is dying now, is he? If he's so old, just let him die for God's sake. Well, I suppose if I don't agree to this, I'll be a cruel, heartless witch and my granddaughter will hate me. Is that what you're trying to say? Perhaps I can let this go. But that doesn't change the fact that you're letting me down and failing in your duties as a housewife in my house. As long as you're okay with that, I will be. I'm sure Adam will see it all my way as well.
Well, I'm not very happy at being called a failure, but if that's how you choose to see it, I suppose I can't do anything about it. If you'd rather leave the cleaning until later, I can do it. It would mean leaving it until after Grace has gone to bed, But I'm happy to deal with it then.
Are you getting angry with me now, Natalie? I don't really like your tone. If you're the kind of person who loses your temper at such small things, what kind of woman do you think Grace will grow up to be?
What do you mean, what kind of woman? Am I not setting her a good example? I'm just standing up for myself. I'm not exactly impartial, but I think that Grace is growing up just fine. She's honest and hardworking. Grace is a good girl, so you can leave her out of this.
Honest and hardworking? Sure, she's probably those things. But she's so sickly all the time. I barely ever see her doing anything. It's hard to judge if she's a good girl or not. In fact, I seem to spend most of my life being inconvenienced by Grace's sickness these days. Just last week, I had to cancel lunch with my friends because Grace was unwell again. I'm embarrassed to call her my granddaughter. I have to make excuses for her all the time.
That's a horrible thing to say. It's not like Grace is choosing to get sick on the days that cause you the most inconvenience. She's not getting sick because she likes it.
Young people these days don't know how good they've got it. They're so weak. In my day, we didn't have the time to get sick and lie in bed all day. Personally, I never took any medicines when I was a child. I played outside all day, and that was enough to keep me healthy. If you spend all your time fussing over her and feeding her medicine, of course she's going to act like she's ill. That's how she gets more of your attention. You're both just hypochondriacs. The more you imagine her being ill, the worse she gets. But in reality, she's just a sickly child who needs more fresh air and sunshine.
Look, I'm the one who asked you to do the cooking and cleaning today. This has nothing to do with Grace. Grace's condition has been thoroughly investigated and diagnosed by medical professionals. I don't want to hear any more of your convoluted opinions about my daughter. So could you please refrain from sharing them? Thank you.
I'm just telling you the truth, however hard it might be for you to hear it. This is why I was against my son marrying you from the start. You're completely incapable of looking after the housework, and you're an awful, overindulgent mother. I knew you would be a terrible choice. Now look where we are. I don't know why Adam won't just ask you for a divorce. He's obviously thinking the same thing as I am.
Excuse me?
I've had enough of this.
Even if you are my mother-in-law, you have no right to speak to me like that. You've said some pretty awful things about my parents' cat, but to insult your own granddaughter is too low, even for you. And now you think you can start talking about my marriage and suggest we get a divorce?
You can talk. You're the worst one for judging other people. Is that the kind of attitude a woman should have towards her mother-in-law? I'm done with you. I'll speak to you when you get home. Although at this rate, I'm not sure if you'll be allowed to come home. I'll be speaking to my son about your attitude and behavior today. I think you should expect to hear from him. I can't be held responsible for what happens to you and your daughter.
Fine. Speak to Adam. I'll be home late tonight, like I said. I'm sorry. I hope you can manage without me. Good morning, Vanessa. I have a question. Are you busy now?
What is it? Have you lost Grace's medicine by any chance?
Do you know something about that, Vanessa? I thought you might.
I don't know anything about it. I just thought it might be something like that. I never said I knew anything about it. I thought I might have seen you looking for it earlier.
Well, I'm just on my way out with Grace, and neither of us can find her medicine anywhere. It's not where I thought I left it, and she says she hasn't touched it. If we don't have it, it's not good. It was expensive, and Grace can't do without it. So if we don't find it, we'll just have to get more. And it'll mean another long way to the doctor's office, I suppose. I haven't seen it since we got home last night, and I left it under the bathroom sink, where I always leave it. If you know something about it, could you please tell me?
I just told you I don't know what happened to it. Maybe the sick cat ate it, thinking it would make him better. Look, if you don't look after your things properly, this is bound to happen. You must have lost the medicine at some point yesterday while you were out socializing. You can't make out as though that's my fault. How rude of you.
I feel like you're making fun of me. That's really not fair. I'm serious. If we can't find that medicine, Grace will be in danger. Would you be happy if something happened to her and you could have prevented it by being honest with me?
If anything happened to your daughter, that would be your responsibility, wouldn't it? And I've already told you many times that I don't know what you're talking about. I have no idea what happened to the medicine. Do you have some kind of proof that I took it? Is that why you're being so insistent?
No, of course I don't have any proof you've done something with it. I'm just confused. Why would you immediately know I was talking about the medicine before? There's something suspicious about your reaction.
Well, it's like I said. I just imagined your question might be something like that. I could have heard you talking about it at breakfast or anything. I feel sorry for Grace to have such a mother as you. What kind of parent loses their child's important medication? You're a completely useless mother and wife. And for you to cover up your incompetence by accusing other people of meddling, that's despicable.
Well, I'm very sorry I made you feel like you were being accused of something. I'm just desperate to find my daughter's medicine. If I misunderstood something, I'll apologize.
Do you think you can just fix everything by apologizing? That's what's wrong with young people these days. You're either constantly offended by something or trying to get out of things by apologizing. If Grace grows up to be completely useless, it'll be your fault for setting such a bad example for her. I really wonder how long my son is planning on looking after the both of you. Even though you never do him any good at all.
I'm sorry for causing such a fuss. If you don't know anything about it, it's fine. I'll leave you to get on with your day. I'll keep looking for the medicine here and I'll let you know if we find it. That way you don't have to worry about Grace.
You should have been looking for it from the start instead of bothering everyone else about it. If you can't deal with the housework and cooking properly, I hope you can at least look after your daughter's medicine. If not, I can't really see what the point is in having you around at all.
I know. I'm sorry. I should at least be able to take care of my own daughter. I'm sorry for bothering you while you're busy, Vanessa. Thanks for your time anyway.
I don't wish to be bothered about little things like this in the future, Natalie. I hope you can remember that. Just make sure you find that medicine, won't you? I wonder if you're really taking this situation seriously enough. I can't imagine what we would do if something happened to Grace because of this. And it would be all your responsibility, too.
I know that. Again, I'm sorry for bothering you. I'm going to run back to my parents' house again today. I won't be late, though. I think I'll get home just after lunch.
Again? Is that really necessary? Well, it doesn't matter, because I'm out all day with my friends today. As long as the dinner is made and the housework has been done when I get home, I don't mind where you've been. You can manage the dinner and chores today, can't you?
Yes, of course.
If it's not done, I'm afraid I'll have to get angry again today. I hate being angry. It takes so much out of me. Please take care and get everything done, because I just want to have a nice, relaxing day today.
I'll see you later. Have a nice day.
Isn't dinner ready yet? Do you want to make me angry again? I'm really at the end of my tether with you, Natalie. Can you sort yourself out?
I'm sorry, Vanessa. I haven't made dinner today. Adam and I aren't at home right now, actually. Did you just wake up?
You're not at home. What is going on? Where are you? Do you know what time it is now? What's your excuse this time? You can't just leave the house while I'm sleeping and not leave a note or anything to say where you're going or what time you'll be back.
I'm really sorry. Actually, can you take care of your own dinner this evening? We're at a funeral right now. We don't need dinner, so you'll just need to get something for yourself.
I don't understand what you're saying. A funeral? Whose funeral are you at? I haven't heard anything about this from Adam or yourself, but it must have been planned. What's going on?
Oh dear, Vanessa. I really don't want to have to say things like this to my own mother-in-law, but how can you tell such a shameless lie? There's no way you don't know what I mean.
I haven't heard anything. I swear. If you are all at a funeral, surely you would have said something. It's not the kind of thing I'm likely to forget about.
Well, we wouldn't be in this situation if it wasn't for you. It's because you do such reckless and thoughtless things that we're here in the first place. You can't pretend that you don't know and think that the problem is just going to go away.
What are you going to do about this? What? Wait. Are you saying it's true? I thought it was just a lie to make me feel guilty.
How dare you say that? I'd be very happy if this was all a lie. And you should feel guilty, since you caused it.
Then, it's true about Grace. This must be some kind of cruel joke. I never intended this to happen.
What do you mean you never intended it? Why don't you just come out and say it, Vanessa? It sounds to me like you need to get something off your chest.
I'm talking about Grace's medication.
I thought you might be. I knew all along you were hiding something when I asked you about it.
But this was not supposed to happen. I never wanted to hurt her when I threw it away. I just wanted to teach you a lesson. I thought she didn't really need it. It was a mistake. I didn't really understand what I was doing.
Oh, I see. So I suppose you want to apologize and forget about it then? I'm glad to hear that you never really wanted my daughter to die when you stole her medication and threw it away. I think we can draw a line under this conversation now. I need to go back inside.
What do you mean by that?
I mean just what I said. We're done talking about this now. Like I said earlier, I'm in the middle of a funeral. I think we should talk about this in detail later on.
I'll be there straight away. Where are you? Is it at the church in town?
Why would you come here? I haven't said I'd like you to be here.
I want to go, of course. What kind of grandparent wouldn't show up at their grandchild's funeral? Imagine what the neighbors would say if I wasn't at my own granddaughter's funeral.
That's what you're worried about? You're not worried about how your son and I feel? If that's your main concern, we don't want you here. You're not invited. Please stay away.
What? I'm not invited to my own granddaughter's funeral. How can you exclude me from that? Do you call yourself a mother?
Do I have to ask you again? We'll discuss that and any other problems we have later. I'm very busy right now. I really don't have the time or the energy to deal with you today. This is a very difficult time for me. I would really appreciate it if you would just wait patiently at home until Adam and I are finished here. We'll call when we have time.
This is unacceptable, Natalie. Do you think you can get away with treating me like this? Natalie! Why aren't you responding?
I'm sorry to keep you waiting, Vanessa. We finally finished with all of our arrangements for the funeral. I think we can continue our conversation from the other day.
It's about time. I've been calling my son, and I even called your parents' house, but I haven't been able to get in touch with anyone. How dare you exclude me from my granddaughter's funeral like that? If the neighbors find out that I didn't attend, do you know what they'll think? I won't be able to show my face.
Is that really what you're most concerned about right now? I think there are plenty of things I'd be more worried about if I was in your situation.
Like what things? There's nothing more important than reputation. Have you forgotten that it was you who threw away Grace's medicine? You're the cause of all of this. I wonder what would happen to your reputation if the neighbors found out about that. Although I don't think it's the neighbors you should be most worried about. Are you threatening me, Natalie? At such a time as this? You've just buried your daughter, but you can still find the energy to be cruel to others. What a heartless, unfeeling mother you are. You don't deserve to be called a mother. You obviously never felt a mother's love if you can be mean at a time like this. You don't have the right to talk to me like that. Don't you think I should be angry at you for stealing my daughter's medication? You had absolutely no concern for my daughter when you did that. You couldn't care less if she lived or died. Luckily, Grace is fine. She's right here with me. What? What are you talking about? You said you were at her funeral the day before yesterday. What are you talking about, Vanessa? I didn't say anything like that. You assumed the funeral was Grace's, and I didn't correct you. I wish you wouldn't just assume that my daughter is dead whenever it suits you. You like to say that I'm a terrible mother, but I think you're the worst. You have no regard for your son's feelings, or your granddaughter's. I could swear you said you were at Grace's funeral the day before yesterday. You can't deny that. That's why I was so shocked and upset. I hardly slept these days at all. If you don't believe me, should I send you a photo? Grace, Adam, and I are all here and we're all doing fine. We're very sorry to have worried you so much. I'll send a picture of the three of us. It's a good idea. It'll probably be the last picture we ever send you. What on earth are you talking about? Was the funeral a lie? No, I didn't lie to you. We were at a funeral all day yesterday. It just wasn't Grace's. I did tell you a number of times, didn't I? My parents' cat was very unwell. It was his funeral we held yesterday. The cat? You can't be telling me you held a funeral for a cat and let me get so upset about not being able to go. You confused me on purpose, didn't you? Well, we were very upset. Even though it was kind of expected. He was getting very old after all. I think his recent bad health was probably just due to old age, and cats don't live as long as humans, as you probably know. But despite all that, it's still a really sad time for us. He was a member of the family, after all. It's hard to have to say goodbye. You can't be serious! Are you making fun of me right now? Why did you make out as though it was my fault you were at the funeral? I didn't take the cat's medicine. Well, maybe not, but the cat died that day we went over to visit him. Do you remember the day I told you we would pop round and you were so rude about the cat? My dad said he died a few hours after we left. What has that got to do with me? I didn't stay for long, because I knew you were so upset about having to fix your own dinner. That's why I wasn't able to be there for the cat's last moments. Perhaps if I'd been there, I would have been able to help. That's why I said you caused it. What? That's ridiculous. You can't try and involve me in something so stupid. Of course I didn't cause your cat to die just by making you come home early. I can't believe I was so worried and it was all for a stupid cat. He wasn't just a stupid cat for us. He was a precious member of our family. Oh, come on. You can't call your cat a member of the family. What's the point in being so sad about a cat? You don't sound too upset about it. Well, we knew it was coming, I suppose. We were kind of prepared for it. And we've been so distracted by the whole mess with Grace's medicine, which you did cause. I guess we haven't really had time to feel sad about the cat. Now what are you talking about? How is that relevant? I wish you wouldn't make me repeat myself so much, Vanessa. Are you having trouble following the conversation or something? I'm talking about Grace's medication, which you stole and threw away. When Grace's medication went missing, we had to drop everything and sort that out. Of course, as Grace's mother, I don't think I can let that go. That's all over now, isn't it? There's nothing wrong with Grace. Nothing happened to her. How long are you going to drag this out for?
Yes, you're right. Nothing happened to Grace. But that's no thanks to you. If I hadn't worked so hard to replace the medication in time, we could very easily have been at Grace's funeral the day before yesterday. I suppose you're right. It's all over. It's certainly over between our family and you.
What do you mean? Before you mentioned the last photo you'll ever send. Are you trying to suggest you don't want me around anymore?
Do you think I'm the only one who's angry because of what you've done? I'm not the only person in this family who loves Grace and wants to keep her safe. Your son and my parents are also saying they have no intention of forgiving you over this. I should thank you for confessing to stealing the medicine. Now everyone knows what kind of person you are.
You've told them all everything.
I didn't need to tell them, Vanessa. They were with me at the time and they all saw your messages. We've decided not to come back to your house. We'll move all of our stuff out when we find a new place. It shouldn't be too long. I don't want any more to do with you, and I don't want you anywhere near my family.
What do you mean by family? Are you including my son in that? You have no right to dictate whether I can see my son or not. I'll never agree to that.
You've got no choice. This is something that Adam has decided. You put our precious daughter in danger with your reckless prank. There's no chance he or I will ever forgive you.
She wasn't in any danger, though, was she? Nothing happened to her after all. You're blowing this completely out of proportion. There's really no reason for you to be so melodramatic about a couple of boxes of medication. She can actually survive just fine without it, can't she? It's as I suspected all along. You're just making a big deal about nothing.
That's not what happened at all. Grace and I had to go straight back to the hospital as soon as we could and get another prescription. It was terrible. I had to take time out of my already busy schedule to do something I'd already done once, and I had to pay an excess for the emergency appointment. She can't just get a repeat prescription. She has to go through the whole process each time so the doctors can give her the correct dosage. You don't seem to understand how much of a problem you caused.
But still, it was fine, wasn't it? She got her medicine and nobody was in danger. You can't punish me like this just for causing you a slight inconvenience.
It was not fine. This is not fine at all. It's not like this is an isolated incident. And it's not just about Grace either. You've been making my life impossible for the whole time we've been living with you. And you even went so far as to ruin a very important day for our family 2 days ago. If you would just take a moment to check yourself, you would see how selfish you've been.
You can't divide me from my son at my age. What would I do? I can hardly look after myself.
You will have to try and look after yourself. I'm not responsible for this. Adam has decided he doesn't want you around anymore. At your age, you should be able to tell the difference between what is acceptable behavior and what isn't. You've brought this on yourself. You can't avoid that. We cut all communication with my mother-in-law shortly after that incident. Although Vanessa hated Grace and me, she had always loved my husband and he was her only child. She really didn't want to stop seeing him, and he said she tried very hard to convince him not to cut ties with her. Apparently, when he was moving our stuff out of her place, she spent the whole day following him around, crying and wailing and shouting. I never started any rumors myself, but I heard that after we moved away, all the neighbors were talking about what Vanessa did. I think she moved to a completely different town just to escape all the gossip. I'm sure she didn't enjoy having to start over somewhere new, but that's life. When a member of your family dies, it can be really distressing, regardless of whether you expect it to happen or not. However, when I consider a person like Vanessa, who acts so heartlessly and never thinks how she might hurt others, it doesn't really bother me what happens to her. I'm glad we don't have her around anymore. I was afraid if we always lived with her, She might start influencing Grace with her bad attitude and mean personality. I think if someone makes fun of their family for feeling sad about a pet, that person probably doesn't deserve to have a family. What with that and the incident with Grace's medication, I think she definitely brought this on herself. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please hit the thumbs up and subscribe for more content. See you next time!
Hey, Rebecca, are you already at home? Thanks for today. I'm so happy you said yes. I'll be able to take care of you a lot more from now on.
What good timing. I just got in. The pleasure is mine. Thanks a lot for today. I was really happy. I guess today is going to be our anniversary.
That's right. I chose today specifically to propose to you. I bet you didn't know that the 20th of February was National Family Day. Everything went perfectly. I still can't believe you said yes.
Today will be one of the happiest days of my life. But I should say I had a feeling something would happen today.
Really? Did I slip up somewhere?
Think about it. You told me to keep this day in particular free about 6 months ago. That's already a pretty good sign that something is up. Then leading up to today, you constantly were checking if I didn't accidentally make other plans, so I was expecting something big from the very beginning.
I guess I was pretty clumsy in my preparation, but if I didn't, there's a chance I wouldn't have been able to propose today. I didn't care what it would take. I was determined to tell you today about my feelings for you and that I want to spend the rest of my life with you. And I managed to pull it off.
Thanks for the consideration. I'm sure everything would have been fine without the constant checking up, though. You didn't have to worry so much. I don't care how you propose to me. There's no way I can turn you down after all we've been through. I've never met a guy like you in my whole life.
No, it makes me happy to hear that. I feel the same way about you. But you gotta understand, even if I was confident in how you felt about me, making a marriage proposal is a heavy task. I can't begin to tell you how nervous I was. As every day came closer, I grew more and more anxious about it. I mean, everything was planned perfectly. I had everything arranged properly with the restaurant so there'd be no issues for the big reveal. So, yeah, for a big moment like this, no amount of mental preparation could stop me from getting worried about it.
You're so cute, Terry. Such a worrywart. Trust me, you did a great job. I was so flustered when you opened that little box in front of everyone. I honestly don't think it could have gone any better.
Yeah, I'm just so happy you said yes. I feel like I'm still dreaming. So you're at home, right? You must want to get some sleep. I'm thinking about hitting the sack too. I think all the adrenaline is dying down and I'm starting to hear the bed calling my name.
No worries, you have a good sleep. Thanks again for today.
Oh, thanks, honey. We'll talk tomorrow. Good night. Sweet dreams. Here's to our new life together.
I'm looking forward to it. Night! I came across this conversation by chance. It was 3 years ago, so it brought up a lot of memories. Terry was such a nice guy back then. I honestly believed he was someone I wanted to be with for the rest of my life. I guess fairy tales aren't meant to exist. The Terry I knew then is a completely different guy to who I know now. When we moved in and first started living together, I still felt like the fairy tale hadn't ended yet. In a quick 2 years of marriage, however, Terry suddenly changed into something else. He's showing his true views towards women, saying that a wife should and should not be certain things. I now live a life constantly self-conscious of what I'm doing. Hey Terry, do you have a minute? I need to talk to you. I know you might be busy, so don't worry about replying. Just make sure you read this message, please. When you take your clothes off for the shower, can you properly put them in the basket, please? I know you like to throw it across the room to see if you get it in, but it turns into extra work for me.
It's your job to do that sort of thing, isn't it? Don't bother me about it when I'm busy.
It's not hard to do, just put it in there properly. Don't make it unnecessarily hard for me. Just the other day you had a bunch of clothes hanging on the chair. You told me the house looks like crap. You told me to go wash and I did just that. Then, a few minutes later, you roared at me for washing your last set of clothes. What's up with that? You didn't even say sorry.
That is your fault for not keeping track of what clothes I have available. You should have been paying attention. Man, that was such an annoying day. I never want something like that to happen again. The weather is so cold recently, it feels like the wind slices right through your body. Naturally, I wanted to wear a warm coat to stave off the cold to some extent. Then, when I look in the dresser, there's not a coat to be found. After a lot more searching, I finally understand why I have no clothes. You washed everything. It's like you expected me to go out naked that day.
Don't blame me for it. I only did what you told me to do. You insulted my housekeeping skills and said I wasn't worthy of being with you unless I could at least do the washing. Then you called me useless again for washing the clothes. You can't get angry at me for both. I think you were angry at yourself and just wanted to take it out on me. Whenever things don't go your way, you take it out on me. Even if it's got nothing to do with me in the first place, you always find a way. I don't deserve this abuse.
Abuse? You actually think I'm abusing you? Don't say something so stupid. I'm putting you in check. You're my wife. As my wife, you have certain duties and responsibilities, so I expect you to live up to those duties and responsibilities. You're gonna spit the word abuse at me?
You're gonna start talking about possessions again. My wife. I'm not a pet. You don't want to hear it, but you have to start being more organized with your clothes. You can't blame me for something like this happening. I can't distinguish between what you need washed and what doesn't need to be washed. So, just put it in the basket. That will save both of us one headache to deal with. You'll always have clean clothes and I won't be washing clothes that are already clean. Problem solved. What do you think? Can I expect you to do that? If you can't put your clothes in the basket properly, I'll just give up doing the washing altogether. You can do it yourself. That'll give you one less thing about the house that you can complain to me about.
What a load of crap. Do you honestly expect me to sit here and listen to you right now? In what world is the husband sitting at home doing housework? That's the woman's job. I think you need a wake-up call. I'm done talking about this. I'm wasting way too much time talking about something that should be common sense. I'm going back to work. Don't bother me with stupid messages again.
I told you didn't have to reply. I just wanted you to read the message, especially now that you're abusing me again. So, can I expect you to do the right thing now? I don't want to wake up tomorrow and see clothes strewn about the floor. Just do this one little thing to make my life easier. Now reply. Good luck at work. I expect things to be better tomorrow.
Good afternoon, my beautiful daughter. Are you at home at the moment?
Hey, Judith, I always get in a good mood when I see your message. I sure am. Is something up? Do you want to come over?
I keep telling you, call me Mom. That sounds great. Timing couldn't be any better. I just received some fruit and vegetables from our neighbors. Do you want to take a bunch of them off my hands? They gave us a lot of onions, so I've turned them into pickled onions. Your favorite, right? You can have that as well if you want.
Wow, Mom. Thanks, you're the best. I haven't tasted your homemade pickled onions since I was a little girl. This will be a trip back down memory lane.
Anything for my little sweetheart. I miss my affectionate little daughter-in-law. How many families are out there where the wife enjoys being with her mother-in-law?
Not many, I'd imagine. Since we're on the topic of food, did you have lunch already? What did you have? All I've had is a sandwich.
Yep, already have lunch out of the way. I had a nice meal with one of the more affluent ladies in this area. We ate after going to see the parade at Midtown. I'm too old for all this excitement. I don't know if my body can handle that much standing around and cheering.
I can imagine. That would have been tiring, even for someone younger like me.
When she asked me to come, I felt like saying no. Then I gave in and realized she is my neighbor, so we should have friendly relations with each other. I'm sure she wouldn't have thought less of me, but I saw it as a good opportunity to get to know each other.
You have a point there. You could never have too many good people around you.
I know, right? I'm guessing you asked me because you're still hungry yourself. Would you like me to pick up something on my way there? How does the usual McDonald's sound?
Oh, no, don't worry about me. The sandwich is enough. I'll make something else later if I get hungry. I just wanted to know so I could start cooking something up before you get here. You're a good cook, but I have some pretty good recipes too, you know.
That's my girl. I knew I taught you properly on how to welcome guests into the home. Thanks for your thoughtfulness. Maybe I'll drop in another time for one of those recipes. Your mother-in-law is a good cook, so you have a harsh critic to please.
Don't worry, you always get my best food.
Such a sweet girl. How's the little pup Marshmallow? I miss that little furball.
Energetic as always. We went for our usual walk today, and as expected, he had all the dogs on the street barking at him. He has a friendly disposition, so I think they all wanted to play.
What a cute little munchkin. I can't wait to see that scruffy little face again. He's only a dog, but he's like a grandson in my eyes. I'll be there in about 30 minutes. Wonder if I'll catch his cute little face peeking at me from the window. See you soon.
Gotcha. I'll warm up the house for when you come in, Mom.
Hey, where the hell are you? What rubbish have you been talking about with my mom? I just got an angry call from her and she's totally put me out of my jive for work.
Interesting. So whenever I send you a message and I need a reply as soon as possible, you ignore me. Then the moment you have an issue with me, you send me messages instantly complaining about something I've done. Are you really that busy at work? Fine, just message me whenever it's convenient for you. Don't worry about when I need to talk to you.
Oh, get over yourself. I only wanted to message if we're talking about something important. You always have something stupid to say when you message me. Anyway, my mom is super angry about the way I treat you. She's saying I have to be a lot nicer too, or I'm gonna lose you. What the hell did you tell her? I still can't get her annoying voice out of my head.
I didn't need to tell her anything. All I did was show her our WhatsApp conversations. Anyway, it's not like this is the first time you've gotten in trouble with her. She's told you countless times to start treating me better. When are you gonna start listening to her? If you find her that annoying, just do what she says and she'll leave you alone. Is it that hard? All you have to do is be nicer and speak to me more respectfully.
What do you mean I should treat you better? The only reason I get into trouble all the time is because you keep prattling on to her anytime we have a little fight. Why don't you just keep your mouth shut about things and she'll finally leave me alone? Oh, I wish you two didn't get along so much. It really is a pain in my butt. Don't you have any other friends to hang out with? Why do you have to be with my mom all the time? Do you actually think she's your real mom or something?
I don't know what type of weird delusions you're thinking of right now, but let's get back on the point. Your mom isn't happy with the way you're talking to me. She says this weird man of the house complex you have is unhealthy and isn't the way she raised you. And if you think it sucks so much for you, I'm getting my share of scolding as well. She blames me for being too soft on you, so that's why you are the way you are now.
If you're that annoyed about it too, why do you keep talking to her about it? She could go on her merry way eating cake all day if she didn't hear every little complaint you have to say. Just do us both a favor and keep your mouth shut.
What else am I meant to do? If I talk to you directly about her problems, you just ignore me and insult me later for it. Talking with your mother is the only way I can get results.
Okay, if you're gonna blame me for our relationship, how about I bring up some issues on my own? If you love hanging out with my mom so much, how about you take out a pen and a notebook and start mimicking what a good wife should be?
sorry. I'm learning as much as I can from your mom. I don't need you to tell me what a good wife has to be. I'd say I've taken more of her good attributes than you have, and you've known her your whole life.
That's the type of talk that you don't do to your husband. I am sick of you disrespecting me. If you were really learning from my mother, you'd see that she never makes complaints even in the toughest of times. Before you and I got married, I lived with her and she made it her duty to keep the house in order, especially the laundry. Trust me, there was no trouble between us when it came to the laundry. Unlike you who complains about a couple of clothes being put on the floor.
That's a lie. I've already talked at length with your mom about what type of lifestyle you lived with her.
Oh yeah? So what did she say?
Well, whatever she said certainly doesn't sound like what you're telling me now. Also, your dad was helping with the house too, not just your mom. I just wish you were more like your parents. I went to their house the other day and had lunch with your dad. He made a beautiful paella, probably the best I've eaten in my whole life. It was so good I took some of it home. Your parents are the best. Not only are they super kind, they both can cook the best food.
You went to their house? You should tell your husband about those types of things. And you ate paella? What about my share? Oh, I miss my parents' cooking, you know?
Sorry, I've already finished what was left over. By the way, you should already know about this. I invited you to their house on Saturday, don't you remember? When I told you I was going to their house and asked you to come, you had your headphones in and were only half listening to me. You said you'd come, but on the day you weren't at home, so I ended up going on my own. Just what were you doing on that day anyway?
If it's my parents, make sure you tell me properly. You know what those guys are like. I've been telling my mom I plan on coming over and staying the night recently. But then every time I do, she says to bring you as well. Such a drag. Why should I bring you? Just why does she like you so much anyway?
Good question. Why does she like your beautiful, kind, and humorous wife?
Oh, get over yourself. You aren't that pretty. Far from it. And stop getting close with my mom. It's starting to creep me out. Just get through your head that she's not your real mom.
Obviously, she's not my real mom. That doesn't mean we can't be close with each other. You're starting to sound like a child when you talk like that. Just how much do you love your own mother anyway? Look, I know she means a lot to you, but you don't have to get jealous about it. It's not like I'm out here to replace you or anything. We're just bonding together. You should be thankful that your wife and mom have a good relationship with each other. But if you don't change the way you're talking to me, she's going to be more affectionate towards me than you. Don't you realize that? I don't know if you've noticed, but she's getting more and more harsh when she's scolding you about me. Is that what you want? Aren't you sick of hearing from her all the time?
You're a real snake. I know you're just trying to get close to my mom and use her against me. I'm not going to bother talking to you today. It's just wasting my time and I'm running behind in work because of it. Thank God I'm going out to dinner with my subordinate today. I can spare myself a couple of hours from listening to your nagging when I get home. So don't make my dinner. Not that I would eat it if I didn't have plans today.
You're going out again? Do you think you can let me know a little earlier than that? I've already got the pot going with food in it. I must have told you this every day since we got married. If you don't plan on eating at home, let me know before it reaches the afternoon. Now I'm probably going to have to throw this food out again. Thanks.
That's not my problem. Find a way to cook better food and I won't have to go eat with my friends.
Terry's attitude towards me grows worse and worse by the day. I was starting to worry if something is wrong with him, and his parents started worrying too. Everyone knows that Terry has some weird affection for his mother. He's been that way before and after the wedding. I think that's the reason why he's so cruel to me all the time. His mother and I are getting very close lately, and I spend more time with her than he does. Despite that, Terry was so kind and charming to me before the wedding. At that time, I was already really close with his mother. With that in mind, I felt like there was a different reason for his hatred towards me. Then, at last, it came. Something happened that showed Terry's true feelings towards me.
Hi, Rebecca. Sorry to send you a message out of the blue. Are you at home at the moment?
Hey, Mom. Feel free to message me at any time. Don't feel bad about it. I'm sorry to say I'm not at home at the moment. I'm at my parents' house.
I see. I guess the timing can't be perfect all the time. As usual, I've received vegetables from our neighbors. They gave us some mushrooms 2 days ago. I've given them a good clean and cut off the bad stuff. I managed to make it into an absolutely beautiful soup. I was hoping you'd eat some. If I contacted you before you went to your parents' house, you could have delivered some mushrooms their way too.
No way! Freshly farmed mushrooms? That's gotta be delicious. Thanks for offering. It's sad that I won't be able to eat it this time, but there's always next time.
Not to worry. I'll always be cooking food for my precious daughter-in-law. Anyways, that's not the only reason why I'm messaging you. After I'm done with things in the house, I have a little matter I need to attend to. Seeing as your place is on the way, I was thinking I could do that little errand and drop some things off at your place as well. You don't mind if I go inside the house, do you? I'll just go put some things in the fridge and exit the house as soon as possible. I'll be done in a flash.
Wow, you do that for us? Sure, of course. Terry and I always welcome food from you guys. You know where the spare key is, so feel free to enter. Just make sure not to let Marshmallow run out of the house.
Wonderful! I hope you have some room in your fridge. I'm bringing quite a lot of items with me. Well, I'll be heading there now then. Let your parents know I said hi too.
Will do. Thanks.
Hey, where the hell are you? I sent you a message earlier saying that I was coming home. A man doesn't want to come home to an empty house and no dinner. What are you doing? Are you slacking off?
Really? I didn't see your message earlier. Sorry about that. But it's quite early, don't you think? It's rare for you to get home at this time. It's still only 2 o'clock. You always finish later than this.
So what? I'm fed up with being at work, period. I'm taking half the day off. Is that so bad?
Wait a second. You do realize I'm at my parents', don't you? Let me know when you're doing stuff like that. I don't like finding out at the last minute.
Are you serious? I'm the one that should be telling you my entire schedule? You should be the one confirming with me on what I'm doing. You should have asked me what time I was coming home today.
What the hell?
Don't think that I'm just gonna sit here and tell you everything that I'm doing. You should ask me what you need to know and then adjust accordingly.
Here we go again. Angry at me again and I've done nothing wrong. I don't know why I'm complaining. It's the same thing I put up with on a daily basis.
Anyway, what's this I've heard about mushrooms? You know how much I love my mom's soup. You should have told me you were going one way or another.
Oh yeah, the soup. That's one of your mother's signature dishes. She dropped it off this morning. She put it in the fridge for us.
Wait, what? That thing? That was absolutely disgusting.
Hey, don't say that. That is your mother's cooking we're talking about. Also, you've had her soup before, right? It's one of the most beautiful things we've ever eaten. There's no way it could taste that bad.
Yeah, right. I'm not gonna believe it for a second that my mother made this thing. Only you would put such a strange combination into a soup. I can taste ketchup and some strange spice that doesn't belong in here. My mom would never make something like this. Every time I put a spoonful of this into my mouth, I feel like regurgitating. I know you were the one that cooked this. You don't want to feel ashamed of it, so you tried to pass the blame off onto my mom. Just admit it. You're a terrible cook. How dare you insult my mom that way? Don't you ever drag her cooking down to your level.
Terry, you're getting the wrong idea. Trust me. I'm being serious. I didn't make that dish. Your mother texted me earlier that she was bringing food over.
I won't fall for a story like that. Have you even tasted my mom's cooking? Her cooking tastes nothing like this.
Okay, well, why don't you just ask your mom yourself? You can hear it come out of her mouth. Then you can apologize to me afterwards.
I don't need to. I know only you would cook something like this.
Oh, when will this ever end? I'm getting sick of all this incessant accusations. Can you cut it out already? Do you realize how rude you sound? This is your mom's cooking that we're talking about here. By the way, why is it automatically my cooking if it tastes bad? Just because I can't cook great food like your mom doesn't mean I cook bad food. I know you don't want to admit it, but I'm not too bad at cook myself. So stop insinuating this is mine.
Yo, cry about it all you want. I know for a fact that this is your cooking. Despite what you think about yourself, you are the most incapable wife a man could have. Not only can you barely cook a decent meal, you can't do something as simple as sorting out which clothes to wash. You know, you should be a lot more thankful. If it wasn't for me grinding at work so much, you wouldn't be in the position you are now. Thanks to my money, you've had it easy. You've never had to get a job since you married me. Just never forget that. Keep it in the back of your mind when you want to complain about stupid things to me.
Now what are you talking about? I think you've absolutely lost it.
I've lost it? Take a look at yourself. You've completely forgotten the role of a woman at home. Just remember why it's the husband that runs the house. It's your job to submit to the husband. Despite that, you want to run your mouth about some laundry? You're going to complain to me about that after I put food on the table and a roof over your head? I thought the woman I married was more devoted to me. I didn't think she would try to irritate me with these little issues all the time. Marrying you was the biggest mistake of my life. I've been regretting it since day one. I'll never be able to take back the years I've had with you.
Terry, that's way too far. Don't say these things to me. I know you're not serious when you say this.
Oh, you think I'm not serious? I am dead serious. I've been thinking like this every day now for quite some time. Now, if you're sick of being put down for being a bad wife, it's about time you change your attitude. With all the time you spend around my mom, you would think that you would learn a thing or two. She's the best stay-at-home wife. You'll never find a woman more capable than her. So, do you get it now? I don't want to have this conversation again.
There you go again, talking about your mom like she's the best woman in the world. I've had enough. You've said your point and I get it. Sorry, but I'm going to do what I think is right, and I don't care what you think about it.
What you think is right? Doesn't matter what you think is right. What I've been saying is right. Have you actually understood what I've been telling you? I don't want this all blowing over your head again.
Yes, I get it. You've made your point over and over again. I've been wondering for a while now why you've turned into the guy you are. I've always thought it was strange and out of place. Now I realize there's no point in trying to find out.
What do you mean?
I want you to feel sorry for all the things you said to me.
You can keep praying for that to happen. I won't be feeling sorry for what I've done anytime soon. You've been staying at your parents' house for long enough. How about you come back home now? It's not right to leave your husband alone in this state. He needs food and a clean house. You can have the grub that you cooked and make me something better. Come home and show me you're sorry for neglecting your husband. Hey, stop ignoring me. Are you coming home or not?
Terry bombarded my phone with messages, but I didn't bother to check them. When I got home, the house was pitch black, so I assumed he went somewhere for a walk. I went to the fridge and decided to eat the soup that his mom cooked for us. Something felt very strange, so I contacted his mom immediately. That's when it hit me. There's something that has been slipping underneath my nose this whole time.
Woman, where is my dinner? I'm starving.
Why don't you go and make it yourself? I'm tired of serving you 24/7. Your dad makes his own dinners, so why can't you? Go back to your parents' house and ask them to teach you how to cook.
Now shut up, get to the kitchen and start cooking. Just where the hell are you anyway? Being out and about this late at night is not something my wife does. Don't tell me you got a new boyfriend behind my back. Are you cheating on me?
Don't think I'm like you. I don't need to do that disgusting stuff behind my parents' back. I'm working. Stop interrupting me with your stupid accusations.
Wait a second. Did you just accuse me of cheating? I have never done that in my life. What are you talking about? Also, you're working now? Your job is meant to be staying at home and managing the house.
Nope, I found a new job. I'm heading there right now.
Well, this is the first time I'm hearing of it. By the way, you haven't asked for my approval yet, and my answer is no. Sort the house out first before you try and get a second job.
I don't need your approval. If you hate it that much, why don't you find someone else? I'm doing what makes me happy, and I'm not going to give it up for someone like you. Bye. Don't interrupt me at work.
Hey, get back here. Don't ignore me. You're my wife. Hey, where is it? I know you've hidden it somewhere.
Huh? Hidden what? What are you talking about?
My alcohol. Where is it?
Whatever. I haven't touched it. I'm sure you've drunk it all. Sort it out yourself. I'm not going to go out of my way to buy more for you. Don't message me with stuff like that. I'm not interested.
You're my wife. My worries are your worries. You're meant to be taking care of me. Also, you're slacking off in the culinary department still. When am I gonna get a decent meal around here? I'm tired of the garbage that you've been feeding me.
Just how demanding can you get? Am I meant to baby you? Next, you'll be asking me to grab the TV remote for you. Also, we're living separately now. I think you should find a way to support yourself. I'm not gonna go all the way there to cook your meals.
The only reason we're doing this is because you forced us to. I didn't want to do this, but you had such a big problem living with me.
Think about why I wanted to do it in the first place. Living under your demands is a nightmare. I couldn't take another minute of it.
Oh, shut up already. Just come home and make the damn dinner.
Oh, you're such a pain to deal with. When will you ever give up? Why don't you take after your dad a bit more? He's fully capable of supporting himself and his family. Also, you bought champagne for your parents recently. I'm pretty jealous of them. I never got treated like that. I wonder why. What makes me so different from your parents?
I'm getting real sick of you talking about my dad. Can you stop bringing him up already? He's got nothing to do with what's going on between us. Don't tell me I should be taking off my dad when I've told you a million times to learn from my mother and you haven't.
I talk about your dad because he's a perfect example of a man taking care of his family. He even cooks. Not only that, the food is amazing too. Then there is you, a man that constantly abuses his wife and can't even cook himself a meal on his own. You've never taken care of me once. All you've done is complain about me being your wife. And you're telling me to serve you? Why would I ever want to serve someone like you? You disgust me.
Doesn't matter what you think about it, a man's wife serves him. It's your job to make me happy.
You love to talk about what a wife is meant to do. How about we talk about what a husband is meant to do? You can't even do the most basic thing, which is love me. Oh, you're really pathetic, you know that? I don't think a guy like you will ever treat me right. I think I might just ignore you. I'll go back to the nice lunch I'm having with your mom and dad. Doesn't matter how cruel you treat me, they'll always be there for me.
Wait, what? What do you think you're doing? Why am I the only one left out? Leave some food for me. What the hell? Invite me.
Hey Terry, I signed the divorce papers. I've left a paper for you to sign as well on the table. Make sure you put your signature on it.
Wait, stop. You don't want to do this. Besides, why aren't you curious about where your husband has been this whole time?
Huh? You've left the house, right? Bye, never speak to me again.
You hag! You'll never marry again, you know that? Enjoy growing into an old, miserable woman.
you're the one that's gonna be alone. So, where are you at the moment anyway?
The parents' house.
Huh? Which one?
My parents, of course.
Huh, that can't be right, because I'm at their house, sitting right beside them. I don't see you anywhere around here. Come out so we can have this conversation in person. Come on, stop playing hide and seek. You're a grown man now. Stop acting like a kid all the time.
What the? Why the hell are you there?
This is the last time I'm ever gonna see them again. I wanted to say thanks for the help over the years. I really enjoyed my time with them. After I'm done having my last tea with them here, I'm going straight to City Hall to hand in my divorce papers.
Wait, stop. Have you thought through this?
This is the type of decision that doesn't need any thinking. Just one last thing. I want to check in with something. You do realize the longer you're with that woman, the more likely she's going to lead you to misfortune, right?
What did you just say? What woman? Who the hell are you talking about?
Stop playing around. I know what you've been hiding. But let me tell you something. When I got home the other day and I checked the fridge, that soup was definitely the soup that your mom brought in. I gave it a taste myself, and you're right. There is something strange about it.
You're talking about that awful grub that I had to eat the other day? I told you it was disgusting. There's no way that my mom would make something like that. If she did, she must have mixed up the ingredients or something.
You already know about the cameras we've installed around the house, right? They've been there for a couple of years now.
Duh, I was the one that put them in there.
That's right. You said you wanted to monitor our mushroom when you weren't home. You installed them so you could see them while you were working. It seems lately you're more focused on that girl, so you haven't been using them to look after mushroom.
Look, how many times do I have to tell you?
Speaking of mushroom, he's at your parents' house now. So I don't think you'll be able to meet him ever again.
What? You can't just take my dog. He wasn't yours to take.
Let's be real, Terry. You never properly looked after the dog anyway. I'm not just gonna leave him there to be forgotten by you. Anyway, returning to what we were originally talking about, it finally came to me one day. This one little bit of information that solved everything.
What did?
The cameras. I decided to check them myself. Once I did, you wouldn't believe what I saw. That girl you've been meeting has been freely entering in and out of the house with a key you gave her. When she opened the fridge, she saw the soup that your mom had made and dunked a whole bottle of ketchup in it. We got it all on camera. If you don't believe me, go check it yourself.
What the hell? Hold on a second, that can't be true. I have no idea what you're talking about. Who's this girl? There must be some sort of mistake here. Are you sure these cameras were for our house?
I'm sorry, Terry. The evidence is all against you. You've been having an affair behind my back. I was originally planning to give you the divorce letters in person today, but your behavior with this girl is really disgusting. I'm not interested in seeing your face again.
Just hold on. Let me explain.
Who would have thought? You're seeing someone that was working in the same building as you? I've let your supervisors know about everything, including the girl that you were with.
Look, I'm trying to tell you, there's been some sort of mistake here. I haven't been doing anything.
As you can expect, your parents know about this as well. They're absolutely shocked that you would do something like this. Naturally, they're angry about what you've been doing with that person, but there's something they're even more furious about. The fact that their beautiful dish was ruined by that woman. Sabotaging food? That's pretty low.
Alright, I get it. I'm going to my parents' house right now to apologize for everything. Tell them I'll be there in just a moment. I'll explain everything when I get there.
It's useless. Don't even try.
I'm sorry.
The reason why you changed all of a sudden recently is because of that woman, right? Admit it. She seduced you. I guess it doesn't matter now. Talking about it doesn't change anything. But this is a happy ending for you, right? All you have to do is marry that woman and start living together. Well, come to think of it, I don't know if it's actually a happy ending, but it's probably the best you can do.
You don't get it, she tricked me. I told her that I want you to be a wife that is fully devoted to me. Then she told me I had to be a domineering and demanding husband for you to be the woman that I wanted you to be. Rebecca, are you there? Oh, please don't. I don't want this to happen. Please don't get this divorce. It'll destroy me. I've realized what I've done. I'm really sorry.
It's too late for apologies. Bye! Terry arrived at his parents' house in a frantic state, trying to apologize for what he did. Apparently, his mom got angry at him in a way that she's never done before. She must have been really furious with him. His family didn't accept his apology and told him to never come back to their home again. Seems he's burnt his bridges with family and his wife. As for me, I went back to my parents' home and started living there. Terry's mom often contacted me about what was going on with him. In the end, he and his mistress didn't end up staying together for long, but I'm not interested in their lives. I did hear, though, that the company decided to fire them as their conduct was outside of policy. Apart from that, I have no idea what those two are up to. While I have divorced their son, I periodically message Terry's parents, and we even have lunch together sometimes. It's nice being around good people. Thanks for watching all the way to the end. If you enjoyed it, please remember to click the like button. See you in the next video!